Hello my friends, today we're going to talk about how I wrote my love song to the Redwoods. I'm going to discuss each individual element that I worked on and new things that I thought about, and then I'm going to discuss how it came together because it was pretty interesting. So feel free to use timestamps if you find that one subject or another is not really what you came here for. I will not be offended if you skip around because people come for different reasons. That's cool. I wrote this about the California Redwoods, specifically in Humboldt County, which is where I went to college. It's where I spent the first 8 years of my adult life. So it's a very important place for me, just thinking about how that surrounding helped shape me as a person. I appreciate it so much. I think that the Redwoods are amazing. They're just glorious, and every time I go, I love being reminded about how small I am as a person. You know, these things that are towering above us are still affected by the elements. That's my favorite phenomenon, when I look up and these giant towers are swaying back and forth. I wanted to write a love song for them, and I don't write a ton of love songs. In fact, I don't think I've ever really written a real love song. That might change next week. So I'm going to start with the harmony and then talk about some new techniques I tried. Then musically I'll talk about my Flugelhorn Solo, and then lastly I will talk about lyrics and how it came together, because again, it was not so cut and dry for me. When I wrote Teal, it was the first time that I used a minor 7 chord, and I used it pretty non-traditionally, and I thought maybe I should try a minor 7 chord in a traditional way. With the A section, I started with a D minor 7 chord. And then, so this starts with a basic 2-5-1 progression. I go D minor 7, G7, and then I go C. And then from there, harmonically, I kind of go in this little loop of like between C major and A minor, because they're relative keys, they're related. So I go E major, then E7, and then A minor again, and then back to E major, E7, and then A minor, and back to C major. So that's the A section. I use it in my intro, and I use it in all the verses, all the shorter verses with fewer words, and in the Flugelhorn Solo. It took me a little while to arrive to this point, but I realized that I did want the A section to have a little bit of a Latin jazz feel. I'll talk about that later. Now, in contrast, the B section has a very basic chord progression that's super famous, used in tons of songs. It's a 1-6-4-5-7-1 progression, and I put it in G. So I go G, E minor, C, D7, and I do that again, and I do it again. I do it a 4th time, and then I end with it a little faster. C, D7, G. I did it that many times just to explore the ideas a little more fully, poetically. You'll see when I get to the lyric section. I was trying to create different atmospheres between the A and the B sections, because the A section is more about me entering the world of the Redwoods. Well, first I started with a careful tread. So I did some finger picking, and I actually learned about this technique from Bernadette Teaches Music. I love her videos so much. I tried assigning one finger to each string. If you actually play ukulele or guitar, you're probably like, well, duh, that's how you do it, but it's new to me. I'm still learning stuff. I tried to make it more like I'm approaching with caution, and I'm approaching with respect. So I go like this. 1 and 2 and 4, 1 and 2 and 4, 1 and 2 and. As best as I could with my still developing skills, I did the same with the strums. So I go 1 and 2 and 4, 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 1 and 2 and 4. I chose the syncopated rhythm. I chose the kind of like dancey kind of like maybe tango or maybe like a salsa rhythm, because I'm thinking about how the Redwoods do sway. I'm thinking about, you know, they're always kind of like in the wind, they're swaying. They don't stay still. So I was trying to illustrate that. With the B section, the style I was thinking of was a very, for a person with a degree in music, I'm not the best with genres. I tried to make it a very sappy, doo-wop, kind of like, oh, will you dance with me? It's like a love song, like a teenage love song. I just made that really straightforward in contrast. So it's just 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So that's the contrasting section there. So now let me talk a little bit about my choices for the Flugelhorn Solo. And first of all, why did I choose that instrument? The answer is that I really associate flugelhorn with Latin jazz feel sometimes. I think especially of this performance that I did with my jazz band about a year and a half ago, and it was this very like Latin-y style, and I just love that sound with that style. So that's why I chose it. I did write out the solo like a pansy. I'm not that good of improvising. This is my approach only because I know that my strength is in reading. I feel more comfortable when there's something visually there, so that if I space out or if I lose the moment, I have that to focus on. Yeah, I wrote it out. I wrote out the chord tones, first of all, and then I wrote a little rhythm that I think was very suitable. I tried really hard, and especially in the first chorus, to put some space in there. So you'll see, or you'll hear measure 5, da da 2 3 4, da da 2 3 4, da 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 da, something like that. The second time around, I used a few more notes. I originally had a lot more 16th notes, and then I realized when I played it up to tempo and listened to it, it was just too much. It was too much to take in. And I even think now that I could have put more space in and used fewer notes. So that's something, again, that's something for me to work on as I write more songs and as I refine the songs that I have. And just not getting so excited about, oh, I'm gonna show off my flugelhorn skills, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, that's not the most effective way to express yourself in music, and I know that, but I get very excited about showcasing ways that I'm unique. And talk about lyrics a little bit. There is a bit of a story to this song. The A sections are more about what I see and hear and feel as I enter the Redwoods. So I start, as I stepped onto the trail, I expected quiet. As you do when you think about like escaping the town or city that you're in and you go into nature, you expect quiet. But the breeze had been singing love songs through the branches. And then I talk about how I relate to what I'm perceiving. I go, the melodies embraced me like an old friend. Soft like the redwood bark that rested on the forest floor. The melodies are soft. I'm doing a lot of metaphors that incorporate what's actually in the forest, because that's what I'm taking in. And then the perspective kind of changes a little bit. Before I was talking about the redwoods and my, this is there and this is there, the melodies, that stuff. Then it becomes about you, and you are the redwoods. Gazing through your kaleidoscope of evergreen lace, I sing to you, my dear friends, my own kind of love song. And the B section is the love song that I sing to them. And it's silly, and it's sappy, and it is an expression of the love I feel for being able to be there. So it becomes an exploration of how I feel and how much I appreciate where I am. Did you miss me? Because it's been a little while. Your neon needles make me smile. It's the glow of the new forest growth, between the sky so high and the ferns reaching up from below. I was thinking loosely of a rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme doesn't equate exactly with the rhythm of the song. I kind of don't care about that as much right now. This is the time that I am recognizing how small I feel in comparison to these giants. I make a lot of references to height and stretching and reaching and gazing up and looking down. You know, I want to take you there too. Second part of that, will you dance with me? I see you swaying up above. From the forest floor with love I sigh, as you stretch oh so high, the cool forest breath and the greens bring a tear to my eye. I know, it's really sappy. I just, if you're gonna do a doo-woppy, you know, 50s type love song, you might as well go all the way, right? That's what I'm thinking. And then I just have a recap. As I stepped onto the trail, I expected quiet, but the breeze had been singing love songs through the branches. Before I go, just a little bit about the process of how this came together, because it is not always so cut and dry for me. I tend to have a concept of a song, just, I'm gonna write a love song to the Redwoods was the concept. And then I might start with a chord or two chords that I think go well. And then from there, I'm like, maybe I'll write some lines. And then from there, I'm like, maybe I'll do a free write. I have a different routine for every song that I write. It's not like I'm like, I do the words first, then I put the chords, then I put them all together. It becomes a special pasta. But I like that because because every song is different that way. I can't think of any two songs that I've written that are similar. And it's not easy to write that way. It was very difficult for me to put together a chord structure for the A section that felt really good. Like I had a different one for a while, and then I was trying to piece together a melody, and I was like, you know, I had to switch some things around. Whereas the B section was just like, oh, I know, it's gonna be sappy. 1, 6, 4, 5, 7, 1, boom, easy. And then I thought like, well, because I'm doing something so easy with the chords, I better make a really, really sappy melody that fully explores my limited vocal range, that makes my very intermediate vocal skills sound really good. That was fun. That was really fun to sing. I did have some moments in this song where I wasn't sure if I could finish it in time. It was hard to put together a story, you know. You can come up with all these little nuggets, all these little images in your mind, these tiny picture frames of things where you're like, okay, that's nice, but it doesn't make sense to have them in the song if it doesn't have anything to do with the story, right? I wanted to make it cohesive and invite listeners to enjoy this with me. Yeah, if you haven't listened to the song yet, it's still there. Put a link there. My next song will be an actual love song because it is going to be the first anniversary of my wedding. So I will write a song about my love for my husband, because he's wonderful. I always feel like I'm gonna say so much here about other stuff, but it just ends up being so focused on the songwriting, but I think you guys like that, so that's cool. If you haven't been around on Sundays, come join my Sunday stream. I usually do songs. It's just fun. I do a little preview of my new song usually, so it would be lovely if you check those out. Until next time, stay mindful, stay musical, and stay out of trouble.